Hey everyone, I have these new Stabilo woody markers. I got the ones that come in a pack of 6. They're pastel colors. Hopefully you guys can see this. And we are going to test these out today with my colored pencils and some other art supplies to see how they work. And I hope you join me. Okay, so I have the Stabilo woody pencils. They are water soluble, and I'm using this Soho series paper that I love. It's like watercolor paper. It says suitable for watercolor pen and colored pencil. I always wanted to get them multi-talented pencil, wax crayon, and watercolor all in one. They do remind me of a crayon. I do love the way that these pencils, like they're heavy, they're big, they're thick, and I like the way that they go on the paper. So it is very waxy. You could layer them on top of each other, and you can add water to them if you want to. So I've got a little bit of water here. I think I like them just as they are without even adding water. Now, if you compare these woody pencils to the Caran crayons, I feel like the Neocolor crayons are, I wish my table wouldn't make that bumpy noise. I feel like the Neocolor crayons are more water soluble than these. So we've got the woody color pencil here, the Stabilo, and we've got the Neocolor here. And you could just see like how water soluble the Neocolor is. And then if I get a brush with this, it's less. It's more of a waxy sort of, it's more creamy. I actually feel like it's more creamy. You have to work it more to get it to work with the water. So it's almost like the Neocolor is a little more like watercolor, a little more transparent, and the Woody Stabilo pencil, whatever you want to call it, is a little more opaque, and it takes a little more work to get it to be water soluble. Actually, it's interesting because I decided to use this watercolor paper where yesterday I tested it on, and I might test it today because I think I like this paper better. Yesterday I tested it on this paper. This is, if you guys watch my videos, you know I love the Talons art creation notebooks. I did a video, I don't know, last week or earlier in November where I showed you just some things you can do, and so I prepped this page. I think I'll draw on this page after. This is some Christmas stuff I did, and maybe we'll test to see how it looks on this. But for now, what I'm going to do is just use this paper instead. And what I want to do is just draw a face, and I want to show you what I mean. So I'm going to draw a face, and then we're going to add some of that Stabilo crayon to it. These pencils that I'm using right now, this is an Artex colored pencil. I love the Artex colored pencils, so I'm just going to draw a face. I hate the way my table makes this sort of noise when I draw. I don't know what is banging around. Okay, so I'm going to draw like a mouth like this. I'm going to draw her ears. I'm going to draw some hair on her. And so we've got this face. Maybe I should tip this down a bit. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Can't tell, I'm using a new camera. Okay, so we've got her face in, and one of the things I like is if I use a marker, let's say, I'm going to use this black marker here to get her sort of eyes mapped in a bit better. This is an Artex marker. Okay. And maybe I will add some pink to her lips. I don't think I'd use these woody pencils on their own. I mean, you can. I don't have enough. But I like that I can add some cheek color. And I like the way these pencils go down on the paper. This paper more so than that watercolor paper I was just using, which is, that watercolor paper is one of my favorite kinds of paper. But just the way it goes on this Talons, and maybe it's because this Talons is really like a smooth paper, it just feels better. Let's see if you can see that. And if I add a little water, let's see. If I add a little water, I can manipulate it. But it's not the same as the Neocolor, because the Neocolor, I could really, I might wait for that to dry, but the Neocolor, if I add some on top of here, I bet this will blend in really nice. But the Neocolor just seems to activate better with the water. I actually like both of them. I don't think I have a preference. You can obviously mix them together, and depending on how much water you have and the kind of brush, but I kind of like trying, as much as I want to let go of control, I kind of like having a little bit of control here. So I'm liking the way my lady's looking. Oh, I'm going to try some of this purple here. Maybe if we blended a couple of colors in. Let's see what happens if we added a little bit of blue. It just doesn't mix the same way that the Neocolor does, but I actually really like how it goes down on the paper. I love, without adding water to it, I love the way it looks on the paper. Let's see if I can get the yellow. So here is the Stabilo, and here is the Neocolor. Now remember, my Stabilo is pastel colors. You can see the difference. This is just a really smooth color. This one, not as smooth. This one, I find if you add water to it, it activates quicker than if I add water to this one. It's just a different, I think you could use them for different things, and I think it's just a preference. I actually think I like both of them. I don't think I have a preference. I want to go back to maybe a different artwork that I did, maybe something like this. Let's see if I can find a drawing I did. Everything's holiday related. So I'll go back to this one. This is acrylic marker, I believe, that I used for this. And I'm going to see how this crayon works on top of it. Looks like it works pretty well. You can't really see it. Let's see if I get this light blue in there. You can see that works really well. I actually think this would be great for mixed media. I'm probably going to get more colors. Look how that went on top of the acrylic marker. Like, it works really well on top of it. What if I added a little purple? Let's see. So it's opaque enough that it's going to show up. Now, if I add, I just feel like too, this is not going to smudge a whole lot when I add it on top of the acrylic. Now, I wonder what this would do if I add it on top. Let's see what the Neocolor will do. So I'll pick a spot right here. I feel like they both work really well. Okay, next on my list after we test, I think both of them work really well. I definitely think the Neocolor versus the Stabilo. I think it's going to be a personal preference. I actually really like both of them. I really like the way both of them work. I do think the Stabilo is a little less water soluble. You really have to work to activate it. But let's go to a page that I had sort of just prepped. Oops, and see what happens when we add some of the pencil onto it. So maybe I'll get a yellow because there's red here, but let's see. And I'm just playing around with the color. It goes on it pretty well. Let's see how the Neocolor works. Let's see if I put a white on it. I think I'm gonna really enjoy both of them. I've had these Neocolors for a while. I haven't used them a whole lot, but I feel like I like the way both of these sort of interchangeably work. I could put the Stabilo on top of the Neocolor. I actually might like the Stabilo better. I just like the way, I like how big this is. I like the way it goes on the paper. I like holding this. Wow. If you're doing mixed media, if you're doing abstract artwork, this is nice. Let's see how the yellow works. Where do I have a yellow here? I think either one of these, it's going to definitely be a personal preference. I wonder, I'd love to hear from you if you have the Stabilo woody pencils. They're much, I think, from a price point, more affordable and easier on the wallet than the Neocolors, and I actually think they're both very interchangeable, and it's going to definitely be a preference on which one you choose. And depending on what kind of art you like to do, I feel like it works really well on top of acrylic markers, and it's quite opaque, which I like. Wow, I'm really impressed. I wish I had more colors. I'm going to take this red and put it on top. I know Christmas is over now, but this is what I have in my art journal. Wow. And I wonder what it would look like on top of this. Wow. That's okay. I am done playing around. I think what I'm going to do now... Oh, how cute. I think what I'm going to do now is maybe draw something with them and use my art supplies and see how they perform. Okay. Let's flip over. Let's draw something new and see what we can do. It looks like I've tested a... I have done a lot more in my art journal than I imagined. Oh, more chickens. Do I have more chickens? No, a lot of color testing. Oh, so, wow, I've done a lot. You know, I don't do a lot of flip-throughs, but I've done a lot more than I imagined. Oh, look at this lady. Oh, I love her. I don't even remember doing this woman. I was probably just playing around with my art supplies. As I'm doing now. Okay, let's see what we can do. Wow, I've really done a lot more than I thought in my sketchbook. I really had no idea. I forgot about all of this. Wow, I wish I had more colors in these markers, but let's just color this lady in. And I'm picking whatever colors I want. One of the things I've learned, because I did a video a while ago on crayons and how I didn't like actual just like Crayola crayons, and it turned out it was the actual paper I was using. But like I think Crayola crayons and kids crayons, you need to have like a paper that has a little more tooth to it, where that the that the crayons can really grasp onto when you're coloring. But these Stabilo crayons, or woody crayons, or whatever you want to call them, go on this paper so well. They're so opaque, and I just love the color. Let's see, I'm going to put some rosy cheeks on this lady. Maybe I'll add a little peach. I only have 6 colors, so I don't really have a lot to play with. I just wanted to test them out, but I'm probably going to get more of these here. So these are the only colors I got. I got 6 colors because I wanted to see how this worked. And now I think what I might do is add, since I only have 6 colors, is add a little bit of Stabilo on top. Ooh, I have a nice purple. I have a lot of Stabilo. I'm sorry, I have a lot of Neocolors. I'm going to add Neocolor on top. It's quite, the Stabilo is quite waxy, so when I add the Neocolor on top, I have to get like areas that don't have a lot of the Stabilo on top of it. So the woody is a little more waxy, and this one is a little more, it's less waxy. I think I have portrait. My friend got me these. She came for a visit and brought me these, and I'm so grateful. over her eye. Definitely, like you can go right on top of it. She looks pretty good. I think I'd like, do I have red? Oh, I have a nice red. These are my Neocolor, so I'm using them interchangeably because I don't have enough colors. I see a lot of people use these for their like landscapes, but wow. I think that's all I have for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear from you if you use the Stabilo woody pencils or if you use the Neocolor crayons. Let's see if I can get it in this picture. Some Neocolor. And then see if I could get a photo of this. I'm using my new camera. No idea what I'm doing. Okay, let's see. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy creating.